Great Depression, like this big, well, you can call it a depression, recession that we're in right now. The government always uses the emergency du jour to grow it. Their only solution to anything is more government, more heroes, more agencies, more regulators, more taxes. All the stuff that we're going to talk about tonight, health care. I don't know if we're going to talk about Social Security. We should be talking about Social Security. All of these programs, these entitlement programs, every one of them, subsidies for all industry. It's all unconstitutional, every bit of it. And that's why we're in the mess we're in. So we're going to need some people that got some fortitude to get up there in Washington and do what needs to be done to get our country back on the right track. And that means getting back to the basics of this Constitution and what our founders intended us to do. And with y'all's help, I'd like to be the one to do it. Thank y'all very much.
Randy Smith. All right, we're going to get to our first question. We're going to start with George Flynn here, and we're going to go down the line to who's going to answer first and rotate that way. First question, we're going to start with jobs. If you were given the sole responsibility of creating jobs for Americans, what program or policy would you implement and or change? And in creating jobs, which is more important, a government program or a tax policy? George Flynn.
Thank you. It's a great question. I'd like to answer the second part first. I would implement a tax policy. More government programs means more government business. Government doesn't create jobs. The tax policy I would look at. You know, we talked about radio. Well, it's a funny story about radio. I built that first station we talked about. And I could never have built the other stations until the government got out of my way. They had a little thing called the 80-90 in the 80s where they allowed you to apply for and build radio stations. And the government, it was an act of deregulation. And it actually expanded the free market. That was great. That's what we need more of. What would those policies be? We've got to have the United States of America be business friendly. Because when it's business friendly, it's jobs friendly. This area, our 8th district, needs jobs. I think we'll all agree with that, won't we? We do need jobs. Everyone says we need jobs. How do you do it? I've been in business. I know how to do this. I would go and be a federal U.S. congressman, be in the federal government, and do 3 things. One is you want to extend the Republican tax cuts. They're set to expire at the end of the year. And if they expire, it's going to be the biggest tax increase we've ever had on every one of you and me, every one of us. Also, businesses, small businesses are going to have their taxes increased. The second thing I would do is I would take the taxes on businesses. I would cut those. You've got to cut those, including cutting the capital gains tax, because that tax money that they pay could be used to hire people. The third thing, I would make sure that we would take stimulus money you could have better spent on cutting the payroll tax. Right now, business is hampered. They're penalized for hiring people. And I would want businesses to be extolled for hiring people rather than saying, you hired somebody, you owe more taxes. So we've got to create jobs. Those are 3 things we can do to create jobs. We will get it done because I've got the experience to do it. I know what works. I know what doesn't work. I'll get in there and fight so hard you're going to think you've elected 3 people. Thank you.